Hello there, you're watching and listening to another Scoutcast from www.fantasyfootballscout.co.uk, and my name is Mark.
My name's Jonty.
My name's Andy.
And my name's Luke.
I didn't do too many W's, did I? www. No, I got it right. That's fine. It felt a bit odd. Welcome, gentlemen. Episode 230. How did we get this far? I don't know. Granville's not with us this week. Did he have a bad game week, Jonty? Or was
he did, but then he had, but then he got Alonso's goals. So then it turned from a bad game week to an okay or good one. So, but he can always dine out on the Alonso.
Alonso saved him. Incredible stuff. And we're going to talk about Alonso tonight in the show. I don't doubt. I'm sure we've got questions on him. But main topics, I guess, Harry Kane and De Bruyne. Is that right, Jonty?
That's right. Yeah, Kane, captaincy. Do we trust him? Manchester's midfield choices. General chaos at City. Bit of cherry picking as well, Bournemouth, or rather getting rid of, cherry dumping, and Alonso, and a little bit on Wildcard as well, because they're starting to flutter a little bit.
Yeah, Wildcard, it's not far away, is it? The international break, of course, as well. Man City crisis, chaos, did you say?
Chaos.
Harsh, as Tony Pulis would say, bit harsh.
Yeah.
I wouldn't quite go that far, but yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about United, who are anything but chaos, Andy. They're flying, aren't they? Flying away. What's going on down there? 2-4-0 wins. I thought they were going to win 1-0 and shut up shop every week.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably talk about it. I mean, I think it probably flattened us a little bit, but it's Jose Mourinho's second season. Going to win the league. Does it every time. If we've got to get a few more 4-0 wins on the way, then perfect for us loading up on Man United. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. But like I said, I think it did flatter us a little bit, like 5-minute spell where Swansea just absolutely crumbled. Yeah,
it did flatter you. And also, we'll talk about the captaincy later on, but Lukaku was pretty dreadful, to be honest, and got us the goal, and that plasters over the cracks. But I think
25 touches, I think it was.
Yeah, he just didn't move. Jermaine Jenner said the movement in United's team was a bit worrying, and he was spot on. And obviously, when Fellaini came on, it was what did he say? Let the horses run free, I think Mourinho said. The horses being Pogba mainly, and he's certainly a pedigree this season. He just basically destroyed them, didn't he, with his pace and power? Often does it late in the game. I wouldn't want to be dealing with Pogba late in the game with all that pace and power. Luke, he looks formidable, doesn't he? And we're going to talk about Mkhitaryan and Pogba. What's your views, Luke, on United? You don't look very happy, but you've got to be pleased with the start, haven't you?
I'm pleased that Man United are doing well, but as I said before, I'm a bit of a loose fan these days since Fergie left. Fantasy's taken over, so I'm happy they're doing well, but not happy that I don't own any of their players whatsoever, which is obviously destroying. Yeah,
bizarrely, you've got 3 Man City players and 3 Southampton players, and therein lies a tale of woe, which no doubt we'll get into in a moment. Okay, let's look at our game. We've got rough and smooth as well, Jonty, haven't we? And then we've got a whole host of questions on the topics mentioned there. So our game weeks, let's have a quick look at how we did. I think it was much the same, all of us really. No one had a really good game week, did they, from what I can gather, looking at the Mods and Con League, which I have joined now. All around 40 points, is that right? Andy, Jonty and myself got 44. I took a hit to make it 40. Let's go to Andy first. What do you think of the game week? You happy with it?
Happy and not happy with 44, but when you compare it to everyone else, like you say, it was a pretty poor week. I don't think any big hitters really went above and beyond. At least not the ones that I own Mkhitaryan, etc. Anyway, so yeah, Captain Lukaku. I think most of us did who were on last week. And Mkhitaryan, kind of my main scorer, is finally. I say finally, it's only been 2 weeks, I suppose. But Gabbiadini off the mark, hit the bar again. Got really excited when I saw that Southampton had a penalty, only to realise that Tadic was taken. I thought Gabbiadini was still on him, so that was a bit of a shame. But yeah, he's off the mark. Foster, 2 clean sheets in 2. Otherwise, everything else was a bit rubbish, really. Obviously, Kane blanked again. We'll come on to that later. And then double Southampton defence, just no good this week. But there's always next week.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're going to talk about Mkhitaryan versus Pogba in a minute, so we'll definitely come to you on that. I guess we've got to go to Jonty at this point, 44 points, and come on then, mention Aaron Moy, come on.
Yeah, Aaron Moy. So I got Aaron Moy in. I don't know if I told you.
Yeah, you did, yeah. You should have posted it on Twitter I think you've only posted it on Twitter 417.
What was quite nice was that I mentioned him last week, and loads of people were saying, "Oh, I got him in. I've never heard of him before. I've got him in." And I thought, "Oh, great!" And so that's good. And so there's lots of us, the Moyes boys. And but to be honest, I think we lucked out there because I didn't get him in for goals, and I don't think we're going to be doing that every week. But I did get him in for all his corners and his crosses and his assists. I'm hopeful that he's going to be a nice steady stream of points. But
Yeah.
I'm not expecting those goals every week.
No, he stands out in that team, doesn't he? Because for most of the game, there was not a lot of quality on show. But Moy definitely was. Even before the goal, he was the best player on the pitch.
Well, that's what I picked up on in the first. It was like the old eye test. And Ince is the one that bombs forward more. But his final product this is why he's a really great Championship player. And I'm yet to see him being a good Premier League player. And, his shots were either weak or off target or straight at the goalkeeper. Whereas Aaron Moy, he just looked like a Premier League player. He just looked like he'd been there for years. Yeah,
okay. I'll put this to you just to wind you up, really. I'm trolling to an extent. Aaron Moy, the new Jason Punchin?
No.
Very similar players.
No, because Jason Punchin was part of an ill-fated wildcard that enabled me to get Sanchez in, who then proceeded to do absolutely nothing for me for about 5 weeks.
Fault, though,
it wasn't, but if I hadn't, Jason was all part of that. Whereas this one, I actually just wanted to free up a bit of money, and I was replacing someone that wasn't playing. I'm not expecting much from Aaron Moy, but he has got great fixtures.
Yeah, good.
I think in the next 4 or 5, I would like to get a few assists and a few bonus. He's good for baseline bonus.
It's a serious point because you say Jason Punchin takes set pieces. He's playing in a similar role, like double pivot, but not the furthest back. He's a creator.
Yeah,
Punchin doesn't really get the goals, does he?
I think
we'll get 2 or 3 more goals.
I think what it is within the Palace setup, Punchin was not the best player, and he wasn't the most involved. Whereas you look at Huddersfield play, and it's all really coming through Moy. But having said that, if people are thinking that Aaron Moy is going to be the next Charlie Adam or the next Joe Allen, even last season,
next Charlie Adam,
or like just any of that. But what I think he's going to be is I think he's going to be valued. He's already the best player points per pound this season.
Yeah,
whereas Jason Punchin has never been that.
No.
He's left a few deposits, but he's never been best points per pound.
He left a few deposits. I just think that I don't know if he'll be a Kapui on Allen. I don't think he'll have 5 or 6 really good weeks and disappear.
No,
I think he'll just be a steady scorer of points. Yeah.
So I think if people are getting him and as part of their setup of their team, but don't expect those goals every week. If he scores again this weekend, obviously I'll be delighted, and it will in anything it'll be quite funny. But it just won't. He's just not that kind of player.
Andy, I think that people who have bought Moy on Jonty's advice should expect the goals every week, and if the goals don't come,
they should tweet him straight away and tell him what
I got Moy thinking there was goals every week.
Yeah. He can't take the glory this week and then not take the blame in the next 10 weeks.
I'm telling people not to get him in if they think they're going to get goals every week, so they're only themselves to blame.
What a caveat that is. I don't know. Okay, 44 for you as well then, fair enough. Luke, sorry, I've got to do this. 21 points.
Do you have to?
Well, we're going to have to pick the bones out of that, I'm afraid.
Yeah. People were telling me on Twitter that I should have done a Granville and just gone into hibernation for a year, which is probably going to be would have been the better option, to be fair. What can I say?
Well, who was your captain? Who was your captain, first of all?
Well, Jesus. That's 2 game weeks in a row, 1 point return for both.
That's so unlucky, though.
First game he gets a yellow card, probably should have scored. Second game gets taken off at half-time due to this red card, I'm hoping. Can't write that. I mean, everyone expected, well, maybe not him particularly, but City in general to score goals. Me especially, because I've got 3 of them. But yeah, I expected highs and lows with my team, because obviously tripling up in defence, tripling up in attack, there's going to be highs and lows. But to hit that low point on the second game week is pretty bad luck, I think. In fact, the lowest score I've ever had, 21 points, is less than if every one of my players just showed up on the pitch and did nothing. Which, embarrassingly, they actually did all turn up and they did all play, and I got no red cards. So I'm quite impressed as how they managed that total. It's baffling, to be honest.
It was an achievement, wasn't it? I don't think I can't remember ever getting a point score where all I got was 2 points of every player. It must have happened quite a lot. And it obviously is very easy to do, but it's obviously not that easy, because obviously one player's only got to get 1 assist or something, and you've got it, haven't you? But
Well, indeed.
Is that the first time, Luke, that's happened to you?
This is this is the lowest score I've ever had. I'm almost sure of that. I mean, I've even had game weeks where I've had only 7 people playing in the past and done better than this, I think. Funnily enough, Yoshida actually got me 5 points. So I got like 5 players that got me 1 point. Salah, substitute. I know.
Yeah.
Jesus, it's just ridiculous. But as I said, I'm happy with the triple up on Southampton. It is 50% ratio so far. I didn't expect them to be getting a clean sheet every week, so that's a 10-game week thing in my mind. And it wasn't even supposed to be a triple. Bertrand's just holding a place for Trippier. So now he's back. Obviously, that'll probably change. But in terms of the Man City attack, I mean, 3 goals in 2 games after the end of the season.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about them. We won't go into it now. We're going to talk about City for sure, because I've got some views on that.
All I'm thinking is if I'd have picked the other Manchester and tripled up from them from the start and maybe picked West Brom block back line, I'd be sitting here like top of the world probably. But
Neymar, top of the world. Yeah, you would have been. You'd have been flying, no doubt. I got 40 points, same as you guys, 44, but I took the hit, so that's all right. It was a week of meh, wasn't it? Just let that one go and carry on in game week 3. Really, no one really did spectacularly well. I think I saw some scores pushing high 50s, but that's really, really good for game week 2, but not in comparison to some of the scores we saw in game week 1, which were going 3 figures. So I think we'll just let that one go. Shall we just move on quickly to game week 3? But let's look at rough with a smooth, John T. Were there any big scores out there?
Well, I'm going to go with the rough first after Luke, just to make it feel better. I found someone with lower points, so there we go. Santigold has kindly fessed up to his 20 points. He benched Lovera, the Huddersfield defender, captain Salah, and he got Fraser in for Zaha. Similar thing. Did all right. Got some good players. Just one of those things. BCFC 1875. He took Chicharito out for Vokes.
Why did he do that, though? I don't.
Just this is what happens at this time of the season.
I don't see the logic for that one.
I didn't see it myself, but he clearly thought Chicharito didn't do much first game week. There we go. But he didn't look at the fixture schedule.
He must have been upgrading somewhere, I reckon.
Come to the then Walker got him minus on Monday night, which then forced his captain Jesus to be subbed. There we go.
Yeah.
So Charlie Bronze got rid of Mane. He thought Mane wouldn't play, so he got Salah in for him.
There was that rumour, wasn't there, going around?
It was a rumour.
It was more than rumour. It was actually a local press saying he didn't.
Got the wrong winger. They got the wrong winger. And then they got worse. He wasn't confident about Southampton scoring, so he did Gabbiadini to Vardy. And then, so all in all, he took an 8-point hit and cost him somewhere in the region of 15 points. I did an 8-point hit infamously last season around the game week 8 mark, and I got a similar dire return, so I know how he feels. Rambo Motin took Alonso out for a hit. Got Higazi in.
He must have been upgrading somewhere, mustn't he?
Well, this is what happens at the beginning of the season. People just go, "Oh God, I don't like the look of them," and then out they go.
Yeah, but it's one game week of data. I just okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think he was probably trying to get Mkhitaryan or Pogba.
I think, but he got Higazi. He didn't. You think I would think he would have mentioned if he'd have got a really good player who then got him 15 points elsewhere. Heavy data. Now this one, he got Alonso's points. But on Saturday night, he thought, I'm going to get rid of Alonso. So he got, as part of some mad dash to get Pogba in, because everyone loves these early transfers. Got to get Pogba in. He actually said on site, I had to. And people were mocking his, I think Luke might have joined in as well, the had to element of that. Did you really have to? And he didn't really. He's got rid of Alonso. Now, after he's watched his 2 goals, he wants to get him back in again, and he's prepared to spend up to 8 points to do so.
Well, he can look at it like that, or he can look at it and go, Alonso's just got his biggest score of the season, and he got it.
Well, he's got that, and now he's got rid of him, but now he wants back in again. So, anyway, some smooths.
Yeah, go on.
Moyes boys, Jay Lanzini is the new player, Lion A, and FPL General amongst the Moyes boys. Astro Stew went further. He got Mkhitaryan and Moy in for Fabregas and Zaha, who both got nothing because they didn't play. Hit well spent, I would say. Now this is Plumber Pedera wildcarded in game week 1. He'd had enough.
After 1 week, okay,
wildcard. But the thing is, it paid off long term. Who knows? But it paid off instantly. Got rid of Speroni, Danilo, Jesus, KDB, Terence Trent D'Arby from Liverpool, Marino, all of those lot, and he got in Foster Jones, Lukaku,
Terence Trent D'Arby,
Moy in. Zanka and Davies from Spurs. 24 point swing. He's worked that out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I mean,
can't get. Well, you got to admit, 24. I mean, if you think of every chip, you can get 24 points from. If you can get 24 points from your triple captaincy, from your bench boost, you'd be laughing. He's used a chip, and he's got 24 points.
24-point swing. Encouraging stuff. A successful wildcard. But the thing is with wildcards, they're not just for 1 week, are they?
No.
It's a long term. So, we're going to get on to Man City in a bit. But Jesus and KDB.
I do like his moves, but yeah.
Okay, community questions. Let's go with the Pogba Mkhitaryan one first, shall we, John T? Big subject.
So,
we've got a lot to say on it.
Yes. Yeah, a regular questioner, FPL Virgin. Can Pogba do it on a cold, windy night without Fellaini? So he's basically, what he's saying is he's following on from your knee-jerk article in which you as a non-Pogba owner were going, yeah, look at those goals, look at those assists, look at all those points. But it appears, this was your theory, that he can't he may not be able to do that without Fellaini on the pitch for the last 10 minutes. So, I mean, I guess just go to you first, Mark. Kind of explain that a bit further for those who haven't seen that.
I'm not saying he won't get goals. I'm just saying that everyone's talking. All you hear about is Matic this, Matic that, and Matic has unleashed Pogba. And I've been guilty of writing that myself. So it's a great theory, and that is happening to some extent. I just think at the moment people keep missing the fact that it's only when Fellaini's been on that Pogba's got his goals. So. Definitely it's a factor, I think, because Mourinho said it himself. I let the horses run free. He literally brings on Fellaini for extra security alongside Matic, and then he brings Martial on, and he tells Pogba to get forward. So then you've got Martial and Pogba. Martial is fresh. Pogba, who just never runs out of energy and power. And those two pushing on, that's what he means by the horses running free. He means those two in particular just running at the defence and destroying them. And he's done it against West Ham, and he did it against Swansea, and he'll probably do it again against Leicester if the game goes that way. But no one's really talking up that. They're mainly talking about Matic. What a signing, what a Chelsea done, blah, blah, blah. And of course that is a factor. But I think is it even 50-50 at the moment? I think Fellaini's probably played as big a part in Pogba's contribution so far than Matic. So that's my point. And we don't know. I mean, Leicester, very different game. Leicester have had a Champions League campaign behind them. They know how to go away from home, counter-attack, soak up pressure. They've got some decent defenders. I don't think United are going to win that 4-0. And I don't think it's going to go the same way as in they're 1 or 2-0 up with 20 minutes to go and can bring on Martial and Fellaini maybe. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if Pogba... Because I'm looking at Pogba's stats. We're going to do it in a minute. I'm not blown away by the transformation in terms of this more advanced role. I don't think there's massive evidence of that other than his goals, of course, and what he's doing in the last 10 minutes. So I'll leave it at that and let you come in with the stats.
Well, yeah, I mean, we spoke about it last week. What the big difference for Pogba was that instead of passing the ball, he was coming from a central midfield area and he was sticking with it. He was taking on defenders, keeping the ball to himself, and either taking a shot or passing it to someone who was then going to take a shot very close to the penalty box. So this was good. This was a good sign. He'd given up tackling as well. So he was letting Matic do that, and which was great. And so, yeah, indeed, it's obviously working with Fellaini as well. So we saw that. Pogba is up on all those stats over Mkhitaryan. Mkhitaryan, he's the chance creator guy. So he's sitting there. If you look on the heat, if members on our site can look on the heat map there, he's sitting there kind of above the penalty box. Kind of, it's like this big kind of mess of green and yellow heat map. And that's where he is. And he's the guy who is doing those killer balls into Lukaku or whoever happens to be coming in to shoot on goal, which is great. So they've both got this really good thing going on there. Pogba goals, Mkhitaryan assists. Mkhitaryan's got something a little extra though, baseline bonus, because he's there. He's got the little passes going on around that, so he's racking that up as well. I think there was another article this week. One of the conclusions really is I don't think you can go wrong with either. No. I think both are going to get you points. It's a bit like who's better, Dele Alli and Christian Eriksen. Well, to be honest, at the end of the season, they've got pretty much very similar points. Dele Alli scores you your nice goals. He kind of looks a bit better on the eye. Christian Eriksen's your workhorse assist guy. They're both good.
I'd say it's the other way around. I'm in the Eriksen camp when it comes to looking better on the eye myself, but that's all preferences, isn't it? Okay, let's go to Andy first on this, because obviously, Andy, you were an early adopter of Mkhitaryan. Let's give you credit where it's due there. You had him at the start of the season. What are you making of this Pogba situation, and are you even thinking about doubling up or going Mkhitaryan to Pogba?
No, I'm never going to do Mkhitaryan to Pogba. That's way too sided. And same the other way. You should just keep who you've got. I think I have looked at tripling up, but I don't think it's going to be 3 attackers. I just think that's too many eggs in one basket. And like you say, we're not going to win 4-0 every game. That Swansea game for like 60, 70 minutes, we actually found it really hard to break them down. Nothing was being created. Like Lukaku was just marked out of the game. Didn't really seem that interested. So it wasn't just Pogba that did well when Fellaini came on. Obviously, Mkhitaryan got both of his assists once Fellaini came on. It just him and Martial just kind of influenced the whole game. And I think what would be really good for us to happen in the next game is Martial to actually get a start, because Rashford just doesn't look up. He gets the ball and he runs and he just doesn't look anywhere. It's like, is it a bird? Is it a plane? Rashford would never know because he just doesn't look up. So I think we need Martial there, and then we can do the business a bit more. But who to have is it's such a coin toss. I think Mkhitaryan's got more chance of being able to keep these points up. I'm not sure Pogba's going to keep scoring goals, although it was a great finish against Swansea. He is getting a bit more forward, but all Mkhitaryan has to do is start getting in the box a bit more. We did see it a few times last season when he was playing number 10, get a few shots off, and I think he can keep the points up because he's already got the creativity there, and like Johnny said, he's got the bonus. So he's still my man. I've got him already, so I'm probably a little bit biased. But if I was picking one again, I think I'd stick with Mkhitaryan. If I was given the choice to swap.
I agree with that. Mkhitaryan gets goals. I mean, he's not just a creator. In fact, he's a very good goal scorer. He just hasn't shown that as yet. And if I was backing someone, 12 yards out to put the ball in the back of net, it'd be Mkhitaryan, not Pogba. I think he's a better finisher. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
That was a great finish against Swansea, though. Give him credit there.
Oh yeah, that wasn't. I mean, Pogba is doing things this season clearly that we weren't showing progress, no doubt about it. I'm not knocking Pogba. I just think Mkhitaryan is a better, more composed finisher at the moment. But Pogba's still got a long way to go, and will get better. There's no doubt about it. It's happening before our very eyes. Luke, your views on these two as a United fan? Where do you stand on this? We know where Andy is. I'm with Mkhitaryan too. Yourself?
There's arguments for both, isn't there? I think I'm slightly to Mkhitaryan just because he's further up the pitch. So I know we've seen it in past seasons with your Ramseys and your Torres, the people in that pivot, they can produce ridiculous scores. But in general, your more advanced players up the pitch are gonna get the goods, get the business end, and do the bits. I just think Martial as well. I would love for him to be nailed on. I don't know whether that's ever going to be the case, but he's certainly making a good go of it. And I totally agree with what Andy says about Rashford. At the end of the day, he's not really a left winger. He's playing that forwards role. He's trying to be the selfish forward and shoot and stuff, which is fair enough. But when you're not up front and you are on that left wing, it sort of hinders the rest of the team. So if you could tell me now Martial would play, I think he would almost be a differential to them other ones. And I would probably go with him because, he's been United's top goal scorer in the past as well with 9 goals I think it was. So he's definitely got it there. It's just the whole nailed on thing. We've only got 2 game weeks of data at the end of the day, haven't we? So, in a 3 or 4 weeks, we might be discussing this again. There might be a clear favourite by then. We'll have to see, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. But a lot of movement, obviously, John, going Pogba's way this week. I think he's the second most transferred in, pushing 300,000 probably by now. So no doubt who the favourite is right now. And that's a reaction to the 15 points haul. Where do you stand? Are you with Mkhitaryan as well? You're in the Dele Alli camp versus my Eriksen? So are you going?
Yeah, but I am actually undecided, and I'm probably not going to get either of them this week. I think Leicester's an okay game, but I don't think it's that good, and I feel I can wait a bit. The truth is, it's not like one of those situations. Funny, when I was reading your knee-jerk article, part of me was thinking, is this kind of a bit like the Yaya Toure season, where you were just like, after suddenly this theory came out of nowhere. It's like, I'm not going to get him. I'm not. Every week Pogba's scoring every week, and it's Fellaini doing it. It's Fellaini. And but then I thought, now there is the thing is you've got Mkhitaryan, so you've almost got like 2 Yaya Toures. You've got 2 excellent players, so you can avoid Pogba and get Mkhitaryan. You can avoid. So I'm going to get one probably after the international break. They've still got quite good fixtures. I think one's great. I think they're going to go up in price. I think we've discussed this before. I don't really mind missing out too much on a price rise. I will take early transfers sometime, partly so that I've kind of done it and don't have to think about it. But in this case, I'm happy to. No, it's 8.5 is absolute bargain still for these two if they can carry it on. I'm sorry to sit on the fence on this.
No, it's fine. I think
honestly, you can't go wrong with either.
No, I think if I didn't have Mkhitaryan, I would, I'd definitely be panicking about not having one of them. And I think that, but I think Leicester's a different game, and it could all change. I don't. We've seen 2 4-0 wins, 2 matches which have kind of played into their hands a bit. Neither really, Swansea or West Ham, had a massive goal threat, so they could afford to attack and get more goals. Let's see what they do when they've got Vardy and Mahrez to deal with on the break. Mourinho will probably not be as willing to go and letting his horses run free in the final 20 minutes of that game, because Leicester will have something to hurt them with. So let's see. And I think that we might be changing our opinion on the two of them. I think it's going to run neck and neck all season. I think it's going to be another Ali and Eriksen, and we're never really going to easily separate them. But we'll see. I think Pogba will keep it up, but Mkhitaryan will as well. I mean, I think he's like 4 big chances he set up compared to he did 6 last season, all season. So just the way United are playing is suiting his game. He's just putting the passes in, and more goals are being scored. So, okay, let's talk Kane, Jonty.
Yeah, what's the matter? Asks, can Kane be trusted with the captaincy? Malcolm Tucker for England. He points out, even with the August curse, this is the fact he's never scored in the Premier League in August. Is he to be trusted? Underlying stats appear to suggest he's about to go goal crazy, but has a poor history with the 8th month stopper spending or keeping 12.5 million in our team. And it also speculates there that is Eriksen perhaps a better captaincy option. I mean, I'm just going to very quickly roll out the old goals imminent table, because he's top of that. In fact, he's top of all tables when it comes to goal attempts. 14. It's absolutely run away. 11 inside the box. They're pretty much all close range, and 4 on target. So 4 on target is actually not too bad, but you need to be, given that amount of goal attempts, he needs to be up in that. Once he ups that, yep, there's going to be goal pie all over those defences.
Okay, that's where you stand. Luke, I'll come to you first on this. You're a big Kane fan. Surely you're not giving up on him, are you?
No, definitely not. I'm probably going to be bringing him in for this game because I haven't even got him. I just had Aguero as a placeholder. I sort of thought Aguero would score better than him in the first 2 game weeks. And funnily enough, he actually did. It's one decision I got right, but only 1 goal to 1 point and 1 point. So not exactly the greatest goal ever, but there we go. The guy's just a machine. Who doesn't think he's going to be the Golden Boot winner? Surely he is. And those stats there just suggest that, the goals are coming and he's going to revert. I know we've been here before, home to Burnley. I think a lot of you guys got him in for that game and then Hull, and then he kind of went ballistic afterwards rather in those games. But, I mean, I think he's going to be the Golden Boot winner. He's going to start scoring sooner rather than later. So, yeah, he'll probably be my transfer in, to be honest, and I'll be backing him. So whatever you guys do, don't copy me because you just saw my last game week.
And, Andy, what do you think about this? I mean, are you going to toe the line here as well?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we talked last week. We don't have to go into it again. We talked about, eventually down the line, can we get rid of him? And I still think maybe that's the case. But when I look at the fixtures and think there's possibly 4 games in the next 6 where I'd think about captaining him, then he's definitely staying. And the stats look like he's going to score a goal. He's already hit the post twice. There's just no way he's going to keep not scoring goals. Now, whether I captain him this week is a different matter. I don't know if I'm fully sold on that. The one I'm looking at is Swansea, game week 5. I think Swansea just look awful defensively, so definitely captain him for that. But this week, I'm not sure if I captain him. Is he better than Eriksen? Probably not, but we always look for that kind of big haul, and I think Kane's probably got a little bit more of a chance in that than Eriksen. Eriksen's going to more likely to drip you the points in. Well,
I mean, I watched him against Chelsea, and I thought it was absolutely outstanding. I mean, he was doing things that it was a very strong Kane performance without the goals, and the statistics are ridiculous. I mean, he's not just better than anybody else. He's far better than anybody else statistically. Obviously, the one statistic that matters is the goals, but he's doing everything but scoring. And I think what we're seeing is obviously Lukaku's got 3 goals, but I haven't seen Lukaku, even against West Ham, he took his goals well, and we'll know at home he'll perform well. Away from home, that Swansea performance didn't really reassure me that Lukaku is not going to be a problem away from home. I think he is. I think that he's going to see less of the ball. The stats prove that if you look at the stats, minutes per touch. And because he's seeing less of the ball, he's perhaps coming on to opportunities colder, or he needs to do more work to get in positions to get the ball. Didn't seem to do that against Swansea. So I'm not, the jury is still out on Lukaku being a home and away captain. So if you've got doubts on Lukaku away from home, look at Man City at home. We're going to talk about them in a minute, but I mean, they weren't good at home last season. Aguero got 5 of his 20 goals at home, and City, I think, ranked 7th for home goals. 10 less than Spurs, 18 less than Chelsea. We presume that City are going to score loads of goals at the Etihad, but they don't. They didn't last year, and against Everton, everything came down the middle, so it was easy to kind of block it out, and Everton did a very good job. A good defence, but I still think I've got concerns about Jesus and Aguero as captains at home. So then what are we left with? Morata,
exactly.
We're left with Kane, aren't we? That's it. This is where he's valuable. This is what I thought at the start of the season. Kane is overpriced. Yes, I get it, but not if you put the armband on him week in, week out. As soon as some other candidate comes up who proves he can rival Kane, home and away, I'll change my mind. But I didn't see enough from Lukaku to think that. And what I've seen from Kane so far makes me think he can do it home and away. He will. And
I would just say on that, Mark, and like you say, his performance and watching him, it's like you just, his ability to manufacture a shot from wherever he gets the ball, wherever he is. He's not even the quickest player, as we know, but he will carry it and he'll get himself into a position to have a shot, and he will have that shot most of the time, as the stats will show you there. And you just know, like the end of last season, eventually they're going to start flying in. It's incredible. I don't think any other striker has that ability to manufacture a shot for himself. Aguero used to have it, and arguably still does, but he seems to have almost lost that a little bit, at least in recent time. And that's why I think Kane's just a notch above everyone else. Yeah,
I totally agree. I think it's a different level. I think Lukaku is close. He can score all kinds of goals, but he's nowhere near as consistent in his performance levels. And the only reason Kane hasn't scored so far, he could have scored 2-3 goals, is he's just been unfortunate. And we can't get rid on the basis of that, especially with Burnley at home coming next. He might not score in that game, but I can bet you he'll play really well and do everything but score again, I imagine. And until I see another player who I think, well, that's my captain, home or away, that's my captain. And there isn't one at the moment. You can look at midfielders. You're not going to do that. We're not going to look at Lukaku home and away yet. I think we need to see him away from home in a couple more matches. We'll see. But at the moment, this weekend just convinced me to keep Kane, and I am going to catch him against Burnley. No question for me. John T, I mean, it's pretty conclusive. We're all keeping him. I don't know whether that was what people expected. What's your views on the people who are getting rid? I mean, where are they going? I mean, I presume they're going to Lukaku, or they're going to a downgrade and then upgrading maybe for Alonso, Pogba, or whatever. Is that the tactic?
I mean, I think if they haven't got Lukaku, I can see why they're making that move. And they've seen it. This thing's not going. Maybe they're not listening to this. Maybe they're not, because we've been talking about his stats last week as well. It's strong underlying stats against Newcastle as well. It is imminent, as Andy said. I don't know whether it's going to be against Burnley or possibly against Swansea at home. But one of those games, he's going to go mental with goals. But one of the reasons I like Tottenham at the moment, and one of the reasons I like Eriksen at the moment as well, is looking at the fixtures. And it's simple. If form's a bit wavering, look at the fixtures. And they've got Burnley, then they've got Everton away, which is okay. And then they've got Swansea at home, which is great. West Ham away, great. And then Huddersfield away, great. So they've got a whole bunch of great fixtures coming up. That's game weeks 3, right the way through to game week 7 there. And that's what I'm looking at there. And then you compare that with, say, Manchester City. They've got Liverpool at home. They've got Chelsea away. Crystal Palace actually put up a good defensive display against Liverpool. They're going to do the same against City, who are poor in attack at home. So I can see, if you've got these City assets, you're not going to captain them. So, we've all talked about Kane, and I think people are wrong to get rid of Kane now. I think give him, I would say not even give him just this one game. Give him the next 3. If you can't do it against Burnley at home, can't do it against Swansea at home, you've got your answer.
I don't understand his theory that he's not, like we said at the top, he's going to win the Golden Boot. No, surely there's no one out there who thinks he's not going to be leading scorer. So it's not that he's not going to get loads of goals, just he hasn't got them yet. And
he will get them. We just don't know when.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't really understand where a case is coming from to get.
I'm so convinced he's going to get those goals within the next 3. That when I say give him the next 3, he'll just get them.
it's not a while. You don't have to be Nostradamus to go, Harry Kane's going to get goals in the next 4. Of course he's going to. It's what I don't understand. It's not the laws of probability.
You say you don't have to be Nostradamus, but how many hundreds of thousands have transferred?
I know. I don't. Well,
So we do have to hammer home that point because people are getting rid of him.
Yeah, I think they're getting rid of. I like to think they're getting rid of him, and then they're making 3 or 4 changes and improving their teams overall. I don't see a like-for-like swap out there. So if they are getting rid, I hope they're getting rid and upgrading for Alonso and Mkhitaryan, and therefore covering his points elsewhere. But as a captain pick, I still think he's peerless. I don't think there's anyone out there yet. So I think that's when it's going to really hurt, because he's got a game coming up when he's going to get 15, 20 points. I think the way he's playing, he looks capable of that easily. Might not happen to Burnley, but it's coming, I think. And that's not, no, there's no kind of talent in predicting that. You've only got to look at the stats and watch him play to know that that's coming. Let's talk about Man City. This is interesting, isn't it, John T? Well, I mean, you've talked about the chaos. It's not quite that, but Monday's performance has given us the willies, hasn't it?
It's a chaos for fantasy managers because you've got Kevin De Bruyne, you've got Jesus, and you've got Aguero. So you've got 3 players in excess of 10 million. And you wouldn't safely say they're going to start, and you wouldn't safely say you can captain them for easy home games or any home game. And in fact, some away games you might not as well. They struggled for a period against Brighton as well. Eventually wore them down. But so the problem there is you've got all these other people and you've got cheaper players doing better. And mentioned Spurs there. So you've got the likes of Eriksen, who's a bit cheaper, and Ali as well. So what's the matter, Us? Is no City attack the way to go? Is it time specifically to admit defeat on Kevin De Bruyne? Dazzler asks, worth moving Kevin De Bruyne to Eriksen or one of the United mids? And the NK Houghton, time to sell Jesus or De Bruyne. It goes on. It goes on. But we do have some other kind of comments in favour, really, of KDB. Virat Kohli says KDB scored against Bournemouth both times they played last season. And on both occasions, City won 4-0. So it's worth giving KDB another week. And Rodelega Bomb, City conundrum, he calls this. Most of us started with KDB and didn't really consider going without an attacker from the Manchester club. With Jesus and Aguero, also popular options. Lots of people are dropping the City assets to get players in who are already firing. How dangerous is it to go without the City coverage? So you can see the things there. There were so many questions. There was about, I don't know, half of 50, 60 questions about this and about KDB as well. People they've had enough.
Okay, let's go to Luke first because he's got them all. So what are you going to do with them? I mean, obviously you're going to be worried after the Everton performance, aren't you? More the result, but how much of it do you put down to the Walker dismissal and how much was it, again, City struggling at home?
It's hard to say, isn't it? I mean, the dismissal's obviously not helped matters. Watching them, it was frustrating. But for the first 10 minutes of the game, I thought, here we go, we're going to get loads of goals here. They looked all over him. And I think that happened in their first game as well. I don't know, my thought process on City really was I'm either going to have none or I'm going to have like 2 or 3 picks because there's going to be games where they're going to score 5 goals. I'm going to have that one guy and he's not going to have any involvement, which happened last season because they've just got too many big fish. Obviously you want the big fish in the team most of the time and they've got too many. So I thought I'm either going to go with none. I had plenty of drafts with none, or I'll just back the theory they're going to score, a ton of goals, and I'll go with all 3, and then I'll just work my way around. If any of them's not performing, I'll move him out. As I said, Aguero was a placeholder for Kane. I've kept the million in the bank for him. So having watched them and seen it, obviously Jesus coming off at half time rather than Aguero, that worried me a little bit. We've obviously all sort of had Jesus above Aguero in our estimations for this season. He was almost anonymous as well for large parts of that game. I thought he was great in the first game. I don't think he was very good in this game. KDB extremely deep, but we knew that as well. We knew when we got him, he plays deep. That does happen. Occasionally he gets pushed up. I just think with Pep, you never know. He could completely change it. He abandoned that formation. Maybe that's partly to do with the red card. And we could see a completely different formation, a completely different setup. Sterling came on and scored. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if, the highs and lows that I've come to accept as part of my team, that one of those 4 or 5 nils does happen now against Bournemouth. I don't think anyone could categorically tell me it definitely won't happen. I think there's still a chance they could do it because the quality they've got on the pitch is just crazy. Yeah,
I think that this is the thing with Pep. He's almost bad news. So he almost trolls us every year because they always look good at the start of the season. I think they won 6 in a row at the start of last season. It looked like the title race was over. Pre-season, they looked fantastic. Brighton, yeah, okay, it was away from home and they had to break Brighton. That's what we expected. They're going to get games like that. I was quite impressed with City there. They played well, kept the ball, had chances, could have scored more. Brighton defended very well. They're not going to come up against that every week, not as organised. Everton, though, at home, I think there is an issue because he's playing a system where he's got wing-backs who aren't natural wingers. They're the only width they've got. So they used to have Sterling and Sané out wide. It means that everything comes through the centre. If a team's organised well and plays the system that Everton played, as in 5-3-2 or 5 at the back, basically, they can just congest that area, which is what they did, and not give them enough space. And then it's going to come down to pure talent. City have got it, but they're not going to win. You know, they're not going to guarantee us loads of goals when they're playing that way. I mean, he seems to have done away with wingers completely. Sané played left wing back. Sterling had to come on to make his impression. He did really well. So I do worry about them at home. I think Bournemouth is a different kettle of fish. I think if they get an early goal there, Luke, I think you're right. They could win 3-4-0 again.
And I just want to say on that as well, they managed to shut down the wing backs amazingly in that game as well, Everton. I don't really know how they managed to do it. They were ineffective. I mean, Sané was pretty much useless as a wing back. He tried occasionally. Walker, I didn't really, obviously got sent off, but for 45 minutes he was anonymous as well, which is strange because in the first game, Walker got man of the match and he was probably their best outlet. So I don't really know how they managed to shut down the wing backs and centrally, but the way Everton set up with, just pure defensive team, I thought Calvert-Lewin, I thought he played amazing.
Outstanding, yeah.
Yeah, he was really, really good. And I think people are going to now look at that if they weren't already, and that is going to be the blueprint you're going to see for pretty much every game where Man City are at home.
Yeah, of course.
It's just going to be blocked.
Funnel them down the middle and try and stop it. So just briefly, are you going to keep your City players? KDB's staying for you, is he?
Well, because I don't want to take any hits and I don't want to do an early wild card as I've done before, I'm going to be doing Aguero to Kane and KDB will be staying, yes.
Okay. Over to Andy, yeah, you next. We've all got De Bruyne. What are your views on it? I mean, you watched Monday's game. Are you concerned about the home form as well?
I'm just concerned. I don't know. I just watch Man City and they just wind me up. I think Pep's got them all over the place. Just does my head in. I think I got suckered in by coverage. I thought City were going to do really well early doors, and it was probably going to be Aguero, Jesus, or De Bruyne. And I couldn't really get Aguero and Jesus in because of Kane and Lukaku. So it just defaulted to De Bruyne. And I would just watch him, and he just has no inclination to get into the box at all. He gets to the edge of the box, and it's always a pass. And he's got the quality to be in there. And then Pep's playing Sané at left wing back. He's pushing De Bruyne back to centre defensive midfielder during the end of the game. He was tired, I know, but I just feel like Pep's all over the place. Man City, Jesus is almost like anonymous where he's playing. I almost feel like you said, they need to go back to having one up front and go into wingers again to be more effective. And I just don't know if he's going to do that because Pep has his ways and he sticks to them. Who am I to tell Pep Guardiola what to do? But I don't know. Man City are annoying me, to be honest. I hate watching them. De Bruyne winds me up. Bournemouth, yes, are doing awful. They're conceding loads of chances, so it does look like a good game. The kind of difference for me is I have 2 free transfers, and if I don't get rid of De Bruyne, I don't really have another transfer I want to make. So for 0.5 million less, I don't see that Eriksen or Ali is going to lose out to De Bruyne. I think they're either going to match him or beat him, and I don't see any reason why I wouldn't just make that move, to be honest.
I think if I had 2 frees, and I'm not saying I might not do it anyway, then I would probably do it, yeah. I think that I'd be confident that Eriksen will match or beat, like you say.
Especially over the next few fixtures, like Johnny said earlier, they're awesome. So yeah.
I mean, I want Eriksen in my team, and it probably will be De Bruyne who makes way. I've got to stick up for him a little bit. Like first half, he did get in the box. He had one run, and he set up Aguero and wanted the ball back. Aguero didn't square it. He's playing, Aguero's going to shoot. He's not.
Well, actually, you say that though, and to be fair, this is me sticking up for De Bruyne. There was a point in the match where De Bruyne played the ball through to Aguero and he didn't shoot. He had 3 opportunities to shoot and he kept running.
The Jagielka one.
Yeah, and in the end he just ran into the tackle. So yeah, to be fair, De Bruyne could have had an assist if there was better finishing, but it just frustrated me.
And also, he dropped deep because of the sending off. There was no doubt that was the plan, and De Bruyne will play just in front of the halfway line, almost dictating play, spraying past his wide. That was basically his role. He didn't play there in the first half. He was definitely further forward with Silva. But I think at home, wherever he plays, he is going to find it harder than away. I do think he's going to do better away from home this season if they're going to carry on with wing backs, because I think the wing back system makes it easy for opponents to shut it down.
I was going to say, I mean, when Gundogan is fully back as well, he clearly favoured and liked him. Do we not think he will kind of take up that central creative-ish role, or bring even Yaya Toure back in, who is actually very good at it in certain games, to do that and push KDB forward? That's the hope for me, anyway. Whether he actually does that or not, he's got two players there who fit that role. I mean, like Andy said, he's all over the place. He had Stones as the furthest back defender, and he had Otamendi pushing forward, playing the passes for the first half that I saw. Stones was right back playing.
That's because Ronald Koeman said he admitted my tactic was to turn up and let Otamendi have the ball. Basically, he wanted to press every other player apart from Otamendi. So Otamendi had the ball a lot. What that says about Otamendi, I don't know.
Fair enough, but then surely switch Otamendi to the deeper one and put Stones in his position on the left.
Well, who are we to criticise probably the greatest football coach in the world in many people's eyes? It's difficult, isn't it? But I don't think it's working. Jonty, so Andy's going to get rid by the sound of it with the 2 free transfers. I've got to say, if I had 2 free transfers, I'd be doing that as well, I think. I'll tell you what I'm doing in a minute. Jonty, what are you up to? What's your view?
I'm going to get rid of KDB and get Eriksen in. And the reason why is because one of our regular posters on Fantasy Football Scout, Ruth NZ, one of his popular themes that he comes to is about value, and it's about looking at making each player and their value work for your team. And it's a very good point, and it's one I kind of wish I'd followed a bit more. KDB is not his value. He's overpriced. He's not a £10 million player. I couldn't find any evidence really of these underlying stats to think he's going to do something for me. As you said, all his shots are outside the box, and we all know that if a player has lots and lots of shots outside the box, hardly any of them are going to ever reach the net. So I had a little look down for other options as well, for Man City as well, and minutes per goal attempt in the box, big long list of likes of Salah, Morata, Kane, Richarlison as well from Watford, but Jesus is way down there, somewhere around the 14th mark, and no Aguero in sight, and certainly no KDB. I don't think he's worth his money. I think Eriksen has better fixtures. I think Eriksen against Burnley might get less, but I think over the next 4 or 5, I'm fully anticipating Kevin De Bruyne to punish me, because it is Bournemouth away, and that's a big, much more different prospect defensively than Brighton at home, and also against Everton away. Well, Everton being the away side. So for me, KDB, he's not worth the money. I shouldn't have got him in. I made a mistake. He could end up scoring 20 points a season, but he's not worth it for me.
Yeah, I mean, to justify why we got him in, Andy nailed it. It was the coverage thing. City went into the season as they still are title favourites, and we can't write them off after 2 games, and we can't make judgment calls after 2 games either and go, De Bruyne is not going to be up there with the top midfielders. I think he still will be. I think the problem is that I think the way City are setting up, like I say, they're going to run into the same issue they had last year, where they're going to find it hard to break teams down at home. More so, I think, and that's the problem. We need City to be the leading scorers at home if we're going to back their attacking assets, because they're very expensive. So I think with Spurs, they look like they've got more chance of breaking down opponents and scoring goals than City from what we've seen so far. But it's a very small sample. I don't think we can make massive statements about, De Bruyne's a waste of money. I think at the moment, obviously, he looks like an issue, but then we've seen him play 1.5 games in the role he was in, but he didn't have a shot. He didn't have a key pass against Brighton. That's the other thing that worries me. I mean, Silva had 5, he had none.
Eriksen's had 3 shots in the box already, all 3 on target. That's not actually bad for a midfielder. We got a comment on the YouTube chat here saying Christian Eriksen's the shots outside the box guy. He's not actually. He's the shots inside and the outside box. And he's on corners,
but I think
corners.
In our defence as well, we didn't double up on Spurs because we had all this talk about, the Wembley factor. People were getting nervous about getting Kane. So,
but the good thing
very few people went in with 2 Spurs attackers with all the confidence without a City attacker.
And with good reason. He's got 1 point and 1 point mark.
Yeah.
But the good thing about De Bruyne is you can move him out. It's one of the reasons I didn't get him last season. I didn't get him. I rarely had him in fantasy football, really in any format. Because he is quite frustrating, because he's not quite the best player, and his price tag is just that too much. He really should have been valued at 9 million. And 9 million, I would
De Bruyne?
I would consider keeping him, but 10 million is too much. It's too much. And I can only see his price going down. I can only see Eriksen and Ali's price going up. And I can certainly only see Pogba and Mkhitaryan, who cost 8.1 now. Well, their price is going to go up because it needs to go up. And so, I mean, you look at the alternatives. KDB, and I'm not just basing it on these 2 games. I'm basing it on experience of owning in very short periods, always regretting it before, and the fact that Man City just seem out of sorts. They're not very good at home. I mean, why have a £10 million player who's not good at home? That's crazy.
Yeah, that's more concern for me. I don't doubt his quality, and I think when City are playing well, he will be scoring points to keep pace with anybody. I'm absolutely certain of it. But I have concerns already about this setup. But Walker got sent off. That obviously changed the plans. I'm torn. I want to get rid. I do want to get rid, but I also think that there probably are more problems in my team that I need to address first. If someone gave me 2 free transfers like Andy's got, I would get Eriksen in for KDB and make my other transfer. Probably I would do that, I imagine. 80-20 would do it. Right now, though, I can't commit to whether I'm getting rid of De Bruyne because I think I've got issues elsewhere. I think I need to get rid of Daniels or Fraser. So,
well, I mean, you like to follow the market with price rises, and you wanted to get Mkhitaryan in, so you could be one of the, you could be on par with those that got him in at 8 million. The thing about Eriksen, with those fixtures coming up, he's going to get points there. He's already going to go up once this week. And then you've got the international break, and you don't kind of really be wanting to make a transfer off the bat at the beginning of an international break. That's not ideal. There's so much that can happen between then. So I just think it's a kind of, to get Eriksen now, this is the time to get him in, I think. And I think KDB's got to make way. As I said, I'm fully expecting to be punished.
No, I agree with that, and that's a very good point. Is like you don't want to be. I mean, there's a very good chance that Eriksen will get points again. KDB could blank, and then I'll be pushed to make a transfer Saturday night with 14 days to go before the next deadline. Exactly. That's exactly what I wanted to avoid with Mkhitaryan.
And it could rise twice. So that means that Eriksen could be, by the end of the international break, 9.8. KDB could be 9.8 as well.
Yeah, well, I would probably wildcard if I felt that was the case. But I think it's going to depend for me on. I mean, my transfer booked in this week was going to be Trippier, but I don't know now because the Spurs looking for a right back. I don't really want to go there and book in. Know that I've got to get rid in 3 or 4 weeks' time. So I may still do it. I'm kind of weighing it up, and Eriksen might go up tonight. So I might actually do it tonight. We'll have to see. But We're going
to get accused of fixing the market again. Eriksen goes up. Oh, it's that Scoutcast to blame, forcing the issue. Don't get him in. No one get him in.
No. I mean, I don't have any doubts that Eriksen is a good. I mean, I wanted him in my team from the start, but I had worries about going Kane and Eriksen from the start, and I wanted City cover. Exactly as Andy says. I don't think that's necessarily a bad idea, but it's just turned out the way it has. But it's only 2 games. So it's very difficult. But the market is definitely pushing people that way for the reason you explained there, Jonty. Okay, let's look at Bournemouth, I think.
The reason we mentioned Bournemouth is not just because of Bournemouth. It's because in defence, attack and midfield, there's Bournemouth players who are facing very poor fixtures coming up, haven't done that well, and there's other players that people are thinking of here. So the overthinker, Daniels, and I'll put in Ake as well because it's similar, 5 million. Worth keeping or time to ship out Wernell for Fraser, and indeed Defoe, who can't get a Premier League match at the moment, and King. And Plumber Pedera, wildcard man at the beginning of the Scoutcast, Richarlison versus Jesse. So he's picked up on that. The battle of the 6 million midfielders, the £6 million men. I had a little look. So I'm going to just quickly talk about Richarlison and Jesse. So I had a little look. Jesse's start was very, very promising indeed. So he was better in 7 key areas over Richarlison. Better dribbling, better take-ons, better baseline bonus, shots on target, more chances, even takes corners. Jesse's up there, is really. But the Watford man, he's up against Brighton next. So I think we could be getting something there. Meanwhile, Stoke are away to West Brom. And then looking at the fixtures going forward, Stokes are not great. So Richarlison's better at close range efforts. Who to go for out of those 2? I think at the moment I would say Richarlison, but keep an eye on those Jesse stats. They look good. They look very promising. Yeah,
I mean, he's a midfielder. I mean, the 2 of them look like gifts to us, don't they, at 6 million? And you probably would, they're 4th mids. They're not going to be 5th mids at that price. But they look like they can fulfill that well. Richarlison, he's not guaranteed starts though when Pereira's fit. Yeah. That's the thing. So there's a risk there with him. But he was impressive in terms of Bournemouth. I'm surprised at their start. I tipped them to get off to a flyer. So I'm really disappointed. I went Fraser and Daniels, and now it's hurting me. So this is why I may not do Eriksen, because I've got these two, and I'm thinking, well, I need to sort that out. So it's difficult. It's difficult for me. Andy, your views on Bournemouth, and have you got any of their players, first of all?
Yeah, I've got Charlie Daniels.
What are you doing with him then?
Well, this is the thing. I mean, like I said, I've got 2 transfers. So the Bruyne to Eriksen gives me 0.5 million. So I did look at Daniels to Trippier. The only problem is I've also got Stevens, and Southampton have just signed a new centre-back, so I'm a bit worried about him. But Daniels in particular, hasn't started off how I want. Yes, it's only 2 weeks, but the next 2 fixtures aren't great. So I don't really want to play him for that. So I'm looking at getting rid. But the fact that he's nailed, and he does have Brighton in 3 weeks, I think it is. But at that point, I may have wildcarded. So I'm in 2 minds. I kind of want to get rid of him, but I'm not sure who to get rid for. Maybe Phil Jones. I'd like Trippier, to be honest, but we'll have to wait till the press conference, I suppose, to see if he's fully fit. Davis is going to be too much money for me at this point. So, yes, I am looking at getting rid of Daniels. I don't know if it'll be this week, but if Bournemouth, I think they're top for chances conceded or something like that, or right up there. So, it's not looking good for them right now, even if it is only 2 weeks of data. So, looking to get rid, probably be someone like Phil Jones or Trippier, I think, for me.
You're not worried about Spurs shopping for a right back, then?
Well, I've seen the Aurier news tonight. I mean, I could put it off another week. I mean, half of me is tempted just to make the Eriksen transfer and save 2 free transfers for the international break, and at that point, the transfer window will be done, I think. I'm a little bit worried. I'll have to see what Pochettino says, I suppose. But obviously, if Aurier comes in, he's going to be first choice.
Yeah, that's the issue. I mean, Trippier was booked in for me. I was definitely going to do it, but this news is worrying. Luke, you mentioned Trippier, so you're going there, I guess. Have you got any Bournemouth players to get rid of?
Yeah, I haven't got I didn't like Daniel's fixtures to start, so I didn't go there, thankfully. But I have got Fraser. I did fancy him as the 5.5 midfielder of choice. And obviously they've been just shocking. Like you, Mark, I thought they were going to score a hatful of goals. I mean, he even had Defoe in a few early drafts, and I fancied him for a lot of goals. Obviously, he hasn't been starting. But Fraser, I mean, I think apparently he scored tonight as well. I don't know if that's right, but I think someone said he did. And, from what little I've seen of Bournemouth going forward, I still have liked his small contribution that he's had. And I think for 5 million, he is still going to be a decent option long term. It's just obviously against City and Arsenal, not so sure he's going to get anything there. And then the whole Richarlison Jesse thing, I do like both of those, and they're only 0.5. So I honestly think if I could find it somewhere, I would be tempted to go there. I mean, they're pretty much forwards in midfield, aren't they? Like you say, Gibbs. I know they're slightly on the wing, slightly on the left-hand side, but their numbers are crazy. So, I mean, yeah, ideally I'd like to get rid of him, but I don't want to take a hit, so I'll probably just leave it. Again, we keep coming back to it. We've only got 2 weeks of data. Form and fitness play so much, as in a team's fitness in the early starts of the season. Everyone has to level out, and I think after a sort of the international break, game week 4 or 5, we'll hopefully start seeing what we expected of teams more often. I think maybe they'll be up to scratch, but so by then I'm hoping that I haven't had so many issues, and he's still in my team, and then he comes good, and I've just got lucky. We'll see.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it's nice that we have got options of Richarlison and Jesse, welcome additions, and maybe the window will bring us some more as well. But Moy we mentioned earlier in the show as well, and I actually think Loftus-Cheek, I know we talked about him before as a 4.5 enabler. He's been outstanding. He hasn't delivered points yet, but my word, he has played really well, and I think points are on the way, and he's going to pick up more owners as soon as he delivers points, and that's coming, I think, when Palace fixtures improve, which they do over the next 3. Let's just talk wildcards then. We'll touch on Alonso briefly after this, but wildcards, John, so you got some questions on this, so let's get through this one.
Well, yeah. So once again, loads of questions on this as well. Lots of people are thinking of wildcarding first international break. It's a popular time to wildcard. People think they can get some good price range changes. It's also good. You got 3 weeks, bit of evidence. I personally think it's a bit early. I wildcarded this time last year. I regretted it, actually. I know you did, Mark. You wildcarded and yet got off to a flyer. So it shows how different you can have different circumstances there. I just think I need a bit more info. But so lots asking for the best time to do it. 2 guy asks, and this is, I think, key. Hazard and Sanchez, well, possibly Sanchez, will return soon. Should this be a factor in wildcard plans? Yes. And then Rodalega Bomb asks, Hazard and Sanchez both have imminent arrivals back into their respective squads. He also mentions Coutinho as well. So Coutinho doesn't move to Barcelona. Suddenly we're going to have Coutinho flying around here at 9 million, is he? We've almost forgotten how much he's worth because we haven't considered him. And Salah, not the Salah, another Salah, should I use my wild cards when the likes of Hazard, Sanchez and Coutinho haven't even played yet? I think they're all bang on, and this is the big warning I think people should have, is because when or if those three players, heavy hitters, who you can captain sometimes and they can get you huge hauls, when they're coming back in, you're going to want them in, and they're going to take rearranging to do. So your wild card's going to be around them. And if you can taking your wild card before you even know whether they're going to play or what's happening before the end of the transfer window, I think you've got big problems here. But if you are determined to wild card during the wild card break, have a look at the fixture list. Let it be your friend. See who's at the top of it in terms of ease of fixtures. You will find Tottenham there. So do get in Kane, Eriksen, those types of players, Davies, Trippier, whatever, whoever's the defender there. Southampton is still there. Southampton's fixture one continues. We've probably already got them there, so do we need to wildcard if we've already got Southampton players? Swansea get better as well, but will Swansea's form get better? And Arsenal get better as well. So that could be key. That could give us a chance to have a look at Sanchez if he's back. These are the things you should be asking. And just one final thing on this as well. Next international break, after that, it's game week 8. That could be a better time to do it. The fixtures change slightly then. Chelsea suddenly get very good. They've got things like Watford at home. They've got some nice, tasty away fixtures as well. That could be good for Hazard as well if he's back by then. Should be back by then. Southampton are still tracking along. They're top still. Keep your Southampton players. And Brighton are up there again. So Brighton have got lots of. We've got an article coming out this week about one of their new recruits, and they've got lots of new players coming in. They could have found their feet by then. They could have lots of budget options there for us as well. And West Ham are there as well. So I think for me, I think game week 8 looks a bit better.
There's factors at play. I don't play the wild card early unless I've got 4 or 5 things wrong. And so last year that was the case, and it was the right decision, and I did really well with it. But I'm looking for that scenario again before I play it. The other thing is, if you're definitely going to play it, take a risk with your next transfer because you know that you've got a wild card to follow. So do something crazy, perhaps. Take that risk because you're more or less, you're not going to have to you keep that player. So that's the thing. If you're going to play wild card, book it in and then use your transfer. One point I would raise as well is the fixture list over Christmas from November 21st is absolutely ridiculous. And so we are going to see rotation from November through to January. Absolutely no doubt, because every team's going to have to, because there's so many matches. I think there's 10 fixtures between November 21st and January the 1st or something. It's just absolutely crazy. That will be a really testing period. And I'm wondering whether I want to save it for then with that in mind, because I think we're going to get injuries. We're going to get rotation. It's going to be very difficult to get through that period. And I think a wildcard might be handy. So I'm considering that. So I'm going to try and avoid playing it if I can. But we've seen before, a couple of injuries at the weekend will change my mind completely. Luke, your views on early wildcard? You've got the overhaul in Sky to look forward to as well. You've got your hands full. Are you going to play the wildcard early too?
No, I mean, I always have done. I nearly always have done, I think, pretty much game week 3 or thereabouts. So I just thought I'd try and play it different this year and try and hold on to it for as long as I can. So I've gone with this block Southampton defence, and I'm pretty much committed to at least 2 of them for this sort of 11-week game period. So I thought I'd ride it out and see what the results are. I think I can only judge it after I've had all them games. So it's a wild card. Would just be a bit crazy for me. So I'm not really bothered about team value. I think there's always going to be people that we're going to be able to find. It seems to have got less important in recent years, in my opinion. So I can see a good reason for doing it. It always works well. But then the price rising system at the moment doesn't even seem to be fully settled. It seems to be maybe less price rises than we're used to. Don't know whether the algorithm's changed at all or not, but there's sort of this myth that you can make loads of money during the 2-week period. I'm not sure that will be the case. Maybe a few little players here or there, the ones we've already mentioned. But no, not for me. I'm just going to ride it out and hopefully keep it, like you said, for that Christmas period or game week 8, or unless there's a tragedy in my team, which you never know, it could be around the corner.
Okay, and Andy, yourself, are you booking it in yet, or I mean, we're all in a fairly average position. There's nothing disastrous going on in our teams, is there? So I just wonder whether any of us are going to end up playing it early.
Yeah, exactly. I think, just quickly touch on the price thing again. I think the first few seasons when I played FPL, there was a lot of money to be made, but the last few seasons, I don't think that's happened. Even with popular players, they don't seem to have risen so quickly, so I'm not sure the money's there. I'm basically, every year, the piece of advice that everyone gives out is to be flexible, and that's basically what I'm doing. I'll use it if I need to, and I won't if I don't. And right now, I've got 2 free transfers. I'm even finding it tricky to make one that I really want to make. So I'm going to carry 2 into the national break. Last year I used it in game week 6. That's the longest I've ever held it for. This year I may hold it longer. I don't know. I'm not setting it in. I'm not waiting until Christmas. I'll just use it when I need it, I think. Right now people look to be scrambling to get in Man United midfielders. I've already got Mkhitaryan. I've got Lukaku and Kane in there. So there's no one I'm really chasing apart from De Bruyne out. And there's a big case to be made to keep him. So yeah, I'm not booking it in. I think over Christmas maybe, but I suppose if there's rotation, then there's going to be so few players that you can bring in that are maybe going to be rotation free, then it might not be the best time. But yeah, I don't know. We'll just see how it goes. But for now, yeah, not booking it in at all. But like Luke says, I've always used it early, and it could happen again.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, what happens on the website and how many people play it there is always a key period. But I think Jonty's right. It could be the next break, or like I say, it could even be later than that. This season's going to be very different, I think, because of that Christmas period, which is I've never seen anything like it. So I don't know how that's going to go. I don't know what problems it's going to give us, and I don't know whether Wildcard's going to help, but I just know that's going to be different.
I mean, I think you're right about that. It is different, and I had noticed that. But I also think what Andy's saying is right. I'm not sure the Wildcard is the best because the players you get in thinking to be rotated, so it's going to be really disappointing. I think the only advice with that, I think you can plan for that in advance. You can look at the fixture list, who's got the good fixtures then. But you can also start looking at, so in my team, I've got a £4 million non-playing defender. That's going to be bad news for me over that period. I'm going to need all my 15 there because they're all going to have to be used. So I'm going to start looking at moving money around and trying to make sure I've got at least 1, 2, 4.5 ones. So kind of almost definite starters so that rotation kicks in. And that's the kind of things you should be considering if you're going to be wildcarding by Christmas. But I hope you can plan enough in advance for it because you see the fixtures. It's not like form where you've got to react quickly to it with a wild card or price changes. But with the fixtures, you know it's there, so we should better plan for that.
Okay, let's do the weekend preview. Fancy on a lot of debate about this going into the show, and is Green Wimble still hanging around waiting to hear these? That's intimidating if he is.
Probably.
I think he's gone. I think he may have gone. We might be all right.
Enough.
Right. Okay, we can get away with some liberties then. Okay, let's do clean sheets first of all. Luke, your first clean sheet. Oh, you can go first. This one. Surely there's one there for you.
Well, yeah, you'd like to think so. Spurs. Want to take Spurs, clean sheet machine. Burnley have been fairly impressive, obviously, against Chelsea, and Spurs not that impressive, but I just can't see them scoring against Spurs away. So that's why I'll go with them.
Yeah, you've got to think Spurs will dominate possession, and they've won a clean sheet out there. We don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I think you're right. That's probably one that stands out. Jonty, yours?
I have West Brom. West Brom have done well for clean sheets. Stoke can't get it away. I just want to mention one quick thing, though. Lots of people are getting rid of Salah this week, I've noticed as well. I've noticed as well, I looked in Liverpool-Arsenal. It was a big scoring game. I believe that Liverpool scored around 10 goals in the last 3 of these fixtures. So, yes. Anyway, so I just thought I'd mention that quickly.
Yeah, I think West Brom's a grudge match, of course. Pullers versus Hughes don't like each other. No. Fletcher on the pitch against his former teammates could all kick off there. So that could be a barnstorming 0-0, I think is what I predict. Andy?
I'm going to back Man United. I think Vardy has got a knock. I don't know if we've got any news on him just yet. I may have missed it. Mahrez obviously is playing all right. And Nakazaki scored 2 and 2. But I just think Man United defence right now with Matic there is one to bet on. I think we can get a clean sheet at home to Leicester for sure.
Okay, I think Vardy's all right because I think he's going to play in the cup. But
okay.
I'm going to go for Southampton at Huddersfield. I think that I don't think Huddersfield are going to score against Southampton. I think they're going to turn up and be very organised and they're going to either get a draw or they're going to nick it 1-0. So I'll go Southampton. I think there's enough on there. I think Palace has owned the Swansea. Could be one as well. But I've got Tammy Abraham, so I'm going to back him. So I'll go Southampton. Big returns for Luke there. He'll be glad to hear that.
No, I need it.
Fancy on this then. Coming to you first, Andy. Who you got?
So I'm actually going to change mine because I know who you guys are going for. And if you can get away with your picks, I can get away with this one. So 10 chances created in 2 games and 5 attempts on goal. Only owned by 2.5%. I'm going to go for Ozil as my fantasy.
He's been terrible though, hasn't he? That's what the press say.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest, I've not seen either Arsenal game, but the stats are there for him. You know, Johnny's just said the Liverpool game's high scoring. So, yeah, I'm going to change because I don't think anyone else is going to take it. My other one was a proper risk, Joselu. at Newcastle. I think he came on and did really well. Whether or not he'll start, I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to go for Ozil.
Okay, fair enough. John, to yours. You bags at this one, haven't you?
Yeah, Antonio. I was impressed. I was impressed with him back from injury. 4 goal attempts, did really well. And they got a great fixture as well, away to Newcastle. I think he's in my scout squad for the picks for the scout picks later this week. I think he's a great option at 7.5.
Luke, what about yours?
I get stick for Vardy, and they go Ozil and Antonio.
That's why you started this.
Yeah, you've opened the floodgates, mate.
Yeah, mine was away to Arsenal at 4%. Come on. Oh, okay. I'll forget it. I'm going to go for Welbeck, just because, like he's already mentioned, I think there's goals all over that game, at least on paper. Neither team can defend to save their life. They have to go for goals. I think Welbeck's in your table that I've seen here, John T, of minutes per goal attempt. He's right up there, every 27.5. So he's sitting there with the big boys like Lukaku. So yeah, I know he can't finish to save his life, but in that game, I'm hoping that one will just fall into his path, he'll trip over his own feet and end up in the back of the net.
Bit harsh on Welbeck, but he can finish. He's all right. He can finish.
In certain little moments, he can. Yeah,
those little dinks over the key. You got one last season there. Yeah, lots of goals there last year, wasn't there? Yeah, and you've got to think there will be again. Looking at the teams on the pitch and the defences that they've got problems. Koscielny back for Arsenal, might change things. I'm going to go Andre Gray. I think Watford, Brighton will have goals in it. So I think there's a few players here. Andre Gray, obviously, Carlson we've mentioned. Holebas could be worth a go, set pieces. And I think Knockhart, or Knockhart rather, I only call him Knockhart to wind people up. Knockhart will probably start that game. Got 45 minutes tonight, I think, Jonty, didn't he? So
Holebas actually got sent off tonight.
Did he?
Yeah, 88th minute.
There you go. He's not going to play on Saturday then, is he? So it's not really Knockhart.
Caputo scored again. Maybe he's the midfielder to go for.
Yeah, I think. Well, he got Knockhart. Is that in his DNA, Jonty, getting sent off? Knockhart?
Knockhart? No. He can be a bit feisty. Yeah, he doesn't like it when it's going his way. Yeah, he has been known. But yeah, yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure he would have started anyway because he's still coming back from injury.
Yeah, well, you got your new Colombian winger. Maybe he'll turn up. But I'll go Andre Gray. I think there's goals in that game. The way Marco Silva set them up, very, very impressed with them at Bournemouth. And we know they're strong at home, Marco Silva team. So I think you've got to think home win. And Andre Gray will start and will probably be their most focal point for goals. So I'll go for him. We've done our transfers, really. So I'll do captains, and I'm going to go Kane, no doubt. Harry Kane. No doubt in my mind whatsoever. Transfers, I'm all over the shop. Not sure if I'm going to go De Bruyne or not out, but Kane definitely, no question for me. Andy?
Yeah, I think I'm going to do De Bruyne to Eriksen. I don't see many reasons not to do that. I then have 0.5 million spare, and I'm kind of stuck with Atsu right now. But because there's no other 5.5 million mid I really want, I'm just going to keep him. So I might make a defensive change, but I've not decided. I think potentially 2 free transfers over the international break could be good. And then captain, it's on Kane, but unlike you, I am wavering a bit and looking at Lukaku for the guaranteed at least 1 goal. So, yeah, probably going to captain Kane, but Lukaku is definitely in my thinking. And I think, just going back to what we were talking about earlier, I don't think Kane's the absolute standout golden boot. Lukaku surely is in with a shot this year playing for Man United, given the amount of goals he scored last year, and he could be on penalties, yeah.
Yeah, could be, but might not be. Yeah, it's going to be those two again, isn't it? No doubt about it. But I would put money on Kane. If I had to, I'd give it to Kane, but no doubt Lukaku running close. Yeah, John T, transfers and captains.
I just wanted to clarify something. It was Holebas that was sent off, not Knockhart.
Oh, sorry, I thought you
was confused.
Oh, well, that's no. Well, my question about his DNA, I don't need to ask that one.
He can get a bit tetchy though, but
no, it's fair enough.
But not as tetchy as Holebas, who was well known for his cards.
Not at all.
Every day's a birthday for Holebas.
I think Knockhart. I think I saw a tweet saying that he got taken off before he got sent off at half time. That's what
really?
Yeah, he was. I think he was already on a yellow.
Oh right, okay. Well,
so it would have been Knockhart versus.
We're going into this blind because we're busy here and not watching the matches. So yes, all people feel. So apologies in advance, anyone. So yeah, captain, Kane. Let's give him a go. But I'm a bit like Andy. Lukaku seems so nice and safe, doesn't he? I just feel there's going to be a goal there, but I just think it feels like a risk, but I feel like now is the time to take it. Okay.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Lukaku will score. I no doubt he'll get one goal, I expect. But I just think that Kane has got a big hole in him, and I think that as folk are getting rid of people don't have him as well, I want to take that chance. I want to see if I can hit that big score. So I'm going for it. I think it's the week to do it. Luke, yourself, captains and transfers.
Yeah, I've already mentioned Aguero will be coming out for Kane. That's what I'd always planned for that million I had, and he'll be my captain. No questions about it.
There you go. There's the questions answered. The only question, will I get rid of De Bruyne? I might even do it in about next 2 hours. I'm also thinking that I might bank my transfers and have 2 over the break, because Andy is right. Having 2 over the break, very, very good. And that will kill the issue that Jonty raised, that you don't want to be rushed into a Saturday transfer. So this is it. With the break coming up, we're going to be back with a Scoutcast a week on Tuesday, right in the middle of that. But it does change things. The international break is a different dynamic, isn't it? Those 2 weeks, that 14 days, Jonty, gives us more time to think. We'll have more data, but obviously there'll be changes afoot, won't there?
It's the most changes are going to happen because it's the end of the transfer window is going to be happening during that period. So we'd have so much more information. I mean, this could be vital information, and so many teams they're just not settled. I mean, I mentioned Brighton have still got their championship set up. They need to be getting some Premier League quality players in, and there's Spurs. There's all these rumours. Are Spurs going to do a surprise swoop for someone on the final day? Wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah, and obviously Newcastle are going to add a lot of players. There's going to be more value coming into the market.
Sanchez, Coutinho as well.
Yeah, of course.
We need to know whether they're staying.
It'll be resolved. Plenty to talk about next week, then, no doubt. Thanks for joining us this week. Another long Scoutcast. Marvellous stuff. Thank you, Jonty. Thank you, Andy and Luke. And thanks for listening. It's a good night for me.
Good night from me.
Good night.
And good night for me.
Good night, all.